Hey, hello from Benakawan, Bagak, the Philippines. It is January 30th, Tuesday, and I'm sitting here at 11:15 in the morning, still waiting for the guys to come and start working on my water softener system. Now, to be honest, they said they would come today, so I really can't get into any projects because I'm just sitting around waiting for them to come to the gate and holler or start honking their horn. And then I'll go out and let them in. So I figured that maybe I could use this time to make a little video that'll help some people out. And that is regarding the marrying a Filipino woman. I don't know about marrying a man, so I can't comment on that. So back in 2019, I met Diana. That's another story. I came over here in May. I still had 2 to 3 years before I was going to retire. So we talked about it. She was previously married. She'd been separated since 2004 from this gentleman. So we talked about getting annulment, and I even joked at the time and said, even if we don't work out, you're free to move on. You'll be able to marry somebody down the road if you want to. So this was May 2019. We kicked the can to get her annulment. We found a lawyer, or she found a lawyer. I was back in the States. She found a lawyer, and paperwork actually got filed in July of 2019. It wasn't until around November. I'm not going to get real into a lot of details here because it's not important. I'm giving you time frames. And this was my experience. Yours may be different, but I think the time frames will be about the same, except for the COVID part. So we got the first hearing was scheduled for November. And she went to that, and each hearing was about anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks apart. So she had her second hearing set up right about the time COVID kicked in, which shut the Philippines down. They didn't have court for months. So you got to take that into consideration a little bit. But it still took until February 13th of 2021 to get an answer from the court. And that answer was her annulment was declined. Again, no reason to get into specifics. So what we did is we found no lawyer, first off, because the first guy was a bonehead. I should have realized that when I went in the office and there was stacks, actual stacks, 8-10 feet tall, all around the walls and on the floors of files. Should have sent off a warning in my head whenever I first went to his office right in the beginning. But he was recommended by somebody. So we went to another lawyer. What can we do? Well, we can see about getting with her husband and see if he can file. So we worked with him. We agreed to pay everything and pay his travels and when he had to go to court, and we went that route. And that actually got awarded on 14th of February 2023. I was here. I had an extended vacation. I was burning, I think, 5 weeks at the time. And we was coming right up on the end of that. So we got this award on the 14th of February. In his decision, the judge awarded the annulment that said we need to give 14 days for a list of people on the back to protest if they disagree with that. One was her husband. Then there was a couple agencies involved, municipalities involved, and Diana. So you had 14 days that it was just radio silence. We're waiting. So I had to get with my company and extend no pay to try to get this 14 days. And then hopefully after 14 days, it was my assumption that we'd be able to get married if nobody protested. Nope. After the 14 days, then they wait for a receipt returned from each of the people they sent the decision out to, verifying that they received it. And once I heard that, I canceled the rest of my vacation or my leave that I requested and went back to the United States because I could see this thing was turning into a train wreck. So I went back to the United States. We waited. We finally had to hire somebody to go to each individual that was on that sheet listed. I think it was 6 of them, and get a copy that they received the ruling. The window is closed to appeal it, but now the court needs proof that they even got it. So we paid a lady to do that. She went to Manila 3 times to get all this paperwork and to file it. So, and you're dealing with mainly the PSA, Philippines Statistic Authority. So we finally, I will take that back. While I'm in the United States, I am waiting for this to get resolved. And I'm getting a little impatient because I could have retired in April. But with my union contract with the company I work for, if I am married prior to me retiring, not only do I get, based on selling back sick time that I've accrued, but also my family gets medical insurance till I turn 65. So that was important. That's 5 years. You don't know what's going to go on in 5 years. It could be extremely important. I'll just leave that open. There's a million different things that could happen to where that would come in handy. Not so much here in the Philippines because the medical coverage only covers emergencies here, but that still could become important, and I'll move off of that. So I'm in the United States, getting very impatient, and I contacted some online marriage companies, mainly out of Utah, and asked them what they required, or what was required in the United States. Because the Philippines has draconian rules around all this stuff. The United States, not so much. So I sent them a copy of the order, and it at that time was about 2 months old. And she said that if her annulment was approved more than, I believe it was 60 days, but I was outside the window, I was more than that they didn't even need to see a copy of it. So I'm like, okay. So we filed everything we needed to file, and we got married online on the 3rd of June, 2023. Then I had to file the marriage certificate with my work, get them to approve it, and then I was free to retire. But in the Philippines, we're still waiting for all this verification to come through. And once the verification comes through, this lady had to turn it into the PSA. And then the PSA had to, screwed up again. She had to give it to the judge. That then he was satisfied that nobody, everybody got a copy, had an opportunity to dispute it. Nobody did. We're good to go. So she had to get it to the judge. The judge finally kicked out a letter stating that the annulment was, in the Philippines' eyes, good to go, according to the court. So in the United States, they don't care about all that stuff. My first wife was married in the Philippines, divorced in the United States, then married me in the United States. She traveled to the Philippines. All her stuff was still in her first husband's name. Never would have came out of her husband's name unless we wanted to go through the annulment process, which we never did. That's just a side note. That what goes on in the Philippines is Filipinos issues, and what happens in the United States is legally done in the United States. It's just a different system. So hopefully I haven't got you too confused. So, because I'm getting confused. So anyway, we were married on the 3rd of June, 2023. She is Mrs. Nelson. So I'm all happy. I retire on the 30th of June. I'm in the Philippines. Bada bang, we're married. Here's the marriage certificate. Let's go get everything changed. Nope. Because I did not file the marriage with the Philippine consulate in the United States before I left. So now I contact them to find out how I can do it from the Philippines. And it was mind-boggling the amount of information they wanted me to send to them, and they even put on it, once we receive all this information, it may take a year for us to validate it all. So, holy moly. Now I'm married in the United States, but over here, no, we're not married. So, back to her annulment. Now the lady turned in all the receipts to the judge. He's good. Now we had to take that to the PSA. The PSA has to also buy off on it and validate it. So we waited here in the Philippines. We was doing many other things, but regarding the marriage, we were waiting here until, I want to say August, till we got PSA okay that her marriage was annulled. Now we can go forward to get married in the Philippines. So we got several different opinions on if we should get married in the Philippines or if we should just use our marriage in the United States and roll with that, just go through, wait the time. I said, I ain't gonna wait, because I ain't gonna follow that paperwork for one. It was ridiculous, the amount of paperwork they wanted. So I was almost gonna fly back to the United States and just go file it with the Philippine consulate there in Chicago. But we decided to go ahead and get married here. So to get married here, to start the process, you have to have the PSA receipt showing that Diana is single. Then, of course, all my paperwork, my my wife's receipt, death certificate. All right, I'm back. Sorry, that one's never going to stop hurting. But so now that we compile all the paperwork, I got all my paperwork together. She got all her paperwork together. All Xerox copied. Everything in the Philippines has to be Xerox copied. I had a beautiful, immaculate copy of the certificate I needed. Colored, beautiful. And I gave it to her, and she said, nope, you need to have a Xerox copy. So I went down to the Xerox place where they made a copy that was all smeared and you couldn't read it. Took it back to her and gave it to her, and she's like, thank you. So, just the requirements. So, part of this, we had to go to a seminar also, a half-a-day seminar. It was, no big deal. It was basically for 16, 17-year-old kids getting married. Things you need to do and courtesies of marriage. So I went through that. It was all in Tagalog. I didn't understand any of it anyway, but took our paperwork that we went to the seminar back to Balanga City Courthouse. They took all the paperwork. We'll get back with you. Like I say, it was several weeks to a month, and they said, okay, everything's good. So now we have a 10-day wait period before we can actually get married. So we went ahead and we had to wait the 10 days, and then we filed in Balanga Courthouse to get married. That was backlogged. And then we filed in another, it was still Balanga, but it was another court jurisdiction. We filed there, and they could get us in pretty quick, the end of the month, around the end of September. Actually turned out being the 3rd of October. So on the 3rd of October, we were married in the Philippines. We got our married in the Philippines, married in the United States, we're set. Nope. Now the Philippine marriage certificate has to go to the PSA again. They have to buy off on it. So we waited a couple months. I got online. They have a real good system online. It's one of the few things you can do online here. And I paid $6 to get 2 copies. And I got a copy, when they finally got finished, somebody's coming out to your house. They're going to deliver it on Tuesday. Tuesday came. I'm all excited. Opened it up, and it said, it's not ready yet. There's no files of it. There's no record of your marriage. It may take up to a year if you were married out in the province. 2 to 4 months if you were married in Manila. So I'm like, good grief. So I just now last week filed again, paid another $6 to have a copy. And this time they came back like within a day and said, all right, courier's on his way. So he's supposed to come today. So that's another reason why I'm sitting around. I can't get into any projects, because if he comes and beeps his little motorcycle horn at the gate and I don't hear him, he's just going to tool on off back to wherever he came from, and I'm not going to get what I'm waiting for. So hopefully good news comes today, because she can't change her name on anything. As far as anybody's concerned in the Philippines, she ain't married until she gets the PSA verification that it went through this agency and she's married. Then we can get her driver's license changed, her passport changed, all this changed. We're waiting before I try to get her visa to go to the United States, or even green card to go to the United States. I have to wait until she gets all this paperwork, so her documents are changed, so we're not trying to change it after the fact, which I don't even want to think about how that would take. So, not to discourage anybody, but that's based off my experiences dealing with getting married to Diana, who was previously married in the Philippines. Now, you can take out all that annulment stuff if you're going to come over here and get married to a Filipino that hasn't been married yet. Then you just got jumped through half the hoops. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. But if you got any questions, I can answer them the best of my ability. I stayed pretty general on the whole annulment stuff. That's Diana's business. I don't need to be opening that up to the world. Not that it's anything outside the usual, but I can just give you time frames. So in May of 2019, first started the annulment process. It is basically February of 2024, and I'm still waiting for our marriage to be finalized in the Philippines. In the United States, we're golden, but Philippines, still waiting. So have a good one. Take care. Good luck. Go Chiefs. Hello. I do have to add something quickly at the end of this video. I actually watched the video this time before I posted it and realized I look like a homeless person. So don't let that reflect on Diana, because she cleans things like all Filipinos do. It's over the top crazy. But she did make a mistake a long time ago. When I first got here in June, I had my nice t-shirt I liked, and I noticed it had a little fleck of bleach got on it. And I'm all distraught. I'm like, oh, I guess I can't wear this no more. And she looked at me and said, Michael, you're in the Philippines. Nobody cares. And maybe I take that to heart a little bit. Too much. But in all honesty, I'm gonna be working on my car as soon as all these guys get checked in here. I noticed in some other videos I look like crap too, but I'm home, man. Just don't let that reflect on my wife. She does a fantastic job and she watches my videos. So y'all take care. And hey, just one more thing. While I was trying to upload this video for the 19th time, the guy came and delivered our marriage certificate with the PSA stamp. So we are now officially married in the Philippines. All right, yeehaw. The date, 24th of January. 4 years later, baby. Take care.